Hi, everybody. Welcome to Annie's channel. This is where we talk about immigration. We talk about immigration majorly to Canada, but we always have exceptions. So if you know, I have done a video about au pair. I've gotten lots of questions about it. So I thought, why not bring an au pair who is currently in Europe living a life of, you know, a very good life, life of her dreams, living her best life, to come here and answer your questions. So I got these questions from my social media. Sorry, okay, you can see my social media handles, the questions that you guys asked. Let's bring her in so that she can actually talk to you about this. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section. We will answer it. So, are you ready, guys? Let's do this. Hi, Rose.
Hi,
Hi, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
where do I start? Well, Rose Anyango. I'm Kenyan. I'm 33. Currently, I'm a student in Spain, formerly an au pair. And that's it. There's no much to it.
Yeah, you heard it from Rose. Rose is currently a student living her best life.
Yeah.
So, Rose, as I briefed you before, I just want to answer questions. These questions these guys sent on my social media handles about au pair, because like there's a video I did about au pair, and they've been asking me questions, some of which I can't answer, but you are the expert. So let's get to the video. The first question, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I hope I'll be able to answer all of them.
Okay. So the first question is, when and how did you know about au pair?
Mm, I knew about au pair in 2019. Through a friend, through you. We've been friends for more than 17 years. So I used to see in your status, you are traveling a lot, living the life I wanted. So I one day asked, how do you do it? And you introduced me to Opera World. So the rest is history. Since
Yeah.
2019, June, around June, July, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, yeah, Rose has been my friends for like forever. Forever. We were in high school together. We have been tight, my friend. So you know what? Your friends are your network. So
Exactly.
yeah, talk to people, talk to people. So the second question, Rose, um, was it scary? Was it a scary thought when I told you about au pairing?
Well, at first it was a bit scary thinking about the girls, the Kenyan girls going to work in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has never been. It has for me. It was scary because they end up being mistreated. Some dead. There are so many unfortunate things that happen to girls who go to the Middle East. So I was like, it might happen to me in Europe. But then again, I decided to give it a try. You never know. I
yeah,
decided to give it a try, and it was not bad.
yeah,
All went well, but I was scared.
yeah.
I was scared. I never knew anyone, and I was scared.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary enough to move to a different country, just as what in whatever position. I was scared coming to Canada. You're leaving your family, your friends, everybody back.
Um,
You're going to a country where you know nobody, and you
Nobody.
have no friends.
Exactly. And the language is different. They
Yeah,
don't speak English here. It's Spanish. So I didn't know anything. So only greetings, which was hola. That is the only thing I knew. So
yeah.
the experience at first was
Yeah, that's really scary, especially now that you're saying it's a different language. I don't think personally I would survive, But people are surviving, and also with the scary stories from Middle East. Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
but thinking of Middle East and Europe, totally different continents. At
Yeah,
least in Europe, they're advanced in terms of human rights
exactly.
laws, and so um, you are kind of protected. You can always go to the authorities and get help. So yeah, I get it. It's really scary. It's scary enough to leave your families and all that to a different language. I mean, different country which speak a different language.
Language.
It's
Yeah.
really scary. But then now that you are scared, what gave you the push to just say that, oh, I'm gonna try?
Well, all my life, I've always wanted to travel, try different things, travel maybe abroad to the United States, to Europe, just try something new, a new culture. And when you told me about au pairing, the maximum age requirement was 30 years. I was 29 by then. So for me, this was my only chance. I felt like this was my only chance, and I only had months because when I arrived in Spain, after like 2 weeks, I was 30. 2 weeks before my birthday. I arrived 2 weeks before my birthday. So for me, this was my only opportunity, an easier way to realize my dreams of traveling and meeting new people, a new culture, and all that. So
Yeah.
I wanted to give it a try, be it through au pairing, through studies, and all that. Although traveling would be like a tourist will be a little bit more expensive for me. So I needed something that was pocket friendly, like au pairing or coming as a student, And well,
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Rose is right. Opera only allows people from 18 years to 30 years max. And
yeah,
so if you're over 30 years, this is not for you. And again, Rose, that was really, 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 your story is just so out of this world that you are almost turning 30.
exactly. I was 29.
You are 29 and you just texted me like at the right time, right? And the
Exactly.
thing I like about you is that you took that opportunity and ran with it. Like you never hesitated. You are just like tap 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 tap, and you are gone. You know?
Exactly. It was around the time that I used to work for Cambry, the Kenya, Cambry, right?
Yeah,
Kenya Medical Research Institute.
yeah,
And my contract was a 4-year contract. So at around 2019,
yeah.
August, I think August is when my contract ended. July, August, I can't get the right dates right. So that's when I thought, why I spoke to you and you told me about the au pairing. So I decided, why not try it? And if I'm lucky, since my contract is ending, I would travel maybe for a year out of the country, experience all that I wanted, then come back. Maybe there would be another contract. But it was going to be hard to get another contract immediately. So this was the best opportunity for me. I was not going to leave work and regret later that I left my job for this and it's not working and all that.
Yeah.
My contract had ended. So this was the best opportunity for me.
Well, you know what, Rose? I don't know if you believe in God. I do believe in God. I think like God knows exactly what happens or what will happen. You see, your contract ended, and I know you were worried that, oh, after this, what am I gonna do? And
Yeah.
then opportunities just come. So that's actually a really great that it happened that way. And I mean, I say that you are so amazing because I tell this au pair thing to so many people, so many girls. But Anyways, we will get into stories after this. Let's stick to the questions. The other question is, yeah, people ask me a lot. Is there a difference between a nanny and an au pair? What's the difference, if you know?
There's a lot of difference between a nanny and an au pair.
Yeah,
I'll speak about Spain. I don't know about the other countries, but I think it's the same.
yeah,
So in Spain, if you're a nanny, you'll need a contract. Okay, even au pairing, you'll need a contract. But to be an au pair, you have to work for like a maximum of 30 hours weekly. But for a nanny, it would be like 40. You need a nanny stays more with the kids, takes care of the kids. Like it's something to you can do it the whole day and night for a nanny. It's like a full-time job. It's a job. But an au pair, I wouldn't call it a job. It's just a few hours when the kids are out, come back home from school. You have to take them to school, pick them from school, stay with them after school for a few hours, 1 or 2 hours at times. But at times you have to teach them English. Like here in Spain, they speak Spanish, so you have to speak English with the kids, speak in English with the kids. So a nanny is more of a job, and au pairing, it's not a job. I wouldn't call it a job because in a day you have to be with the kids for like 3 to 5 hours.
yeah.
So it's not a job.
Yeah, I call it like a cultural exchange because other than even like staying with the kids, you have to go to school and learn the language
Exactly.
of that
You,
country.
yeah, you have to be school.
Yeah. And weekends, are you off?
Yeah, it depends. That depends on your contract.
Okay.
For me, I was always free on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends. There are parents who are busy on weekends, so you are you'll be free on Monday and Tuesday. Depends on weekdays, but normally you have 1 or 2 days that you have to do what you like. You're free to do what you
So
like.
free to like roam around, see the city.
Yeah. Travel if you want. Depends with the families. They are not so well. I'm still in an au pair group in this city,
Yeah.
Zaragoza. I'm in Spain, Zaragoza, and they travel a lot. Like they have the freedom.
Yeah.
When you're free, you have the freedom to do whatever you like. Even if you want to travel to another country for a day and come back the next day, you're free to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So one question that a lot of people are wondering, and probably it was not part of the questions. So for an au pair, like there are people who are green. They don't know about au pair. Just like when I told you, they've never heard of it, right? So like for an au pair, do you like live with a host? Do they pay you something, or like when you're going there, you're just like doing their few hours and that's it?
Oh, for an au pair, you live with the host. One, you live with the host, and they have to pay you at least 70 euros. We don't call it a pay; we call it pocket money.
Yeah,
At least 70 euros per week, and you work for at least in Spain it's 20 to 30 hours. I don't think it's more than 30 hours, although it depends with your host, your agreement between you and your boss. So they have to pay you at least 70 euros per week, and you live with them. But you don't have to do the household. In Spain, or at least for the families I've been with, they have people who come once or twice a week to clean. Yeah.
yeah,
So your work as an au pair is just to stay with the kids.
yeah. Just
But
as you said, you're not a nanny.
yeah, you have to clean your room. That's normal in any household. You are just like another child, another elderly, another
Older child.
older child in the house. So you have to clean up. You don't have to leave the house dirty. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, so another question also, like, do they, when you're learning, when you're enrolled for a language school, who pays for that? Do you pay for it, and is it expensive?
Uh, Like I've said, everything depends on your agreement with your host.
Host, okay.
First, the host can pay for your flight. Okay, to can pay for your flight. It depends. He can pay or you can pay. It depends on your agreement. Then there's a medical insurance. It's for me. It's better if the medical insurance is taken from the country you're going to. For example, I was coming to Spain. My host paid for the medical insurance here in Spain, but I had an option of paying for it in Kenya. Although it would be an advantage to me if I reach here and I fall sick, then when I go to the hospital, they tell me that my insurance does not work in that hospital. So my host decided to take it from here and paid for it. And we never shared. There are some hosts who want to share the expense, but we never shared. Then for the school, the first semester, my host paid for it, and it was around 140 euros for 2 semesters. A whole year is 140 euros. So the first year my host paid for it, and I paid for my second year.
So
Yeah, but they never took anything from my allowance. They never deducted any money from my allowance. It depends with your agreement with your host. So these are things that you should make clear from the beginning, because your host might pay for your flight, might pay for your school and insurance. Then when you start au pairing, she'll be deducting little by little. I have a friend whose host did that, paid for her flight and school, and when she arrived, the host started deducting little by little, actually half. The host used to pay her 100 euros every week, and at the end of the month, the host gave her 200 euros instead of 400. So when she asked, the host told her that it's part of the flight that we paid and the school and all that, but this is something they never agreed upon. Yeah, so it's better if you agree with your host on money issues. That's very
yeah. So can we say that you were lucky to get a good host? Because there are people who say that, oh, my host was really cruel and blah blah blah.
Actually, I would say I got the best host.
Yeah.
I would even want if my host were the kids and the kids were the parents. I had good hosts.
Yeah.
They were nice people, but with my first family, it really never worked.
Yeah.
I stayed with them for around 2.5 months. 2.5 months, and I could not. The kids were just impossible.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I think it's because of the language barrier. Like I could not speak Spanish. I did not understand anything. So
Yeah.
communicating with the kids, and they were twins, 1.5-year-olds. It was a little bit so hard.
Yeah.
It was hard, not a little bit. It was hard. Sometimes when the parents are not there, they are friendly and all that. We play together. But when the parents arrive in the house,
Yeah.
they've never seen me.
So oh, sorry. So like you said that your first host, so like that means you changed host, and is it easy to like get a host while you're in Europe already?
I would say when you're already in Europe, it's so easy to get a host. And I'm speaking about au pairs in Spain.
Yeah.
In France, I'm in another au pair group for Kenyans in Europe. In Europe, that includes Germany, France, Spain, Belgium, some other countries, and the rules are different. So I'm speaking about Spain. And in Spain, there's no au pair visa. It's a student visa. So you are here as a student, not as an au pair. But since as a student, you have to produce evidence of where you're going to stay, that's where the au pair thing comes in. Because as an au pair, you have a contract that you're going to live with the family and stay with their kids for 5 hours or 4 hours, and in return they're going to host you. Yeah. So
Interesting.
in Spain, I would say it's so easy to change families. You can change as many families as you want, because it's not something that is done officially. Although you have the contract signed and dated and all that, but it's not something official. Like you have to go to an office and do it, stamp it, and that. Mm-mm. It's just an agreement between you. And if there's anything, you have the contract to show for it. But it's not something that if you change like 10 families, you have to show for it. So for me, it's easy because we are in an au pair group, and every day there's an advertisement. My host needs a new au pair. I'm going back to my country. There are so many. Like my host family has a neighbor who needs an au pair, and all that. There are so many advertisements. So once you're here, it's so easy to get a host family, and it's also easier to change from family to family.
Okay. So the next question would be, did you pay someone to link you with a host family?
No, 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 no. I never paid anyone. Like I said before, when you told me about Sophia Wild, I just got into the website and I started looking for family. I was lucky the first, not the first, but I was lucky to get a family after like a week or two, and we started everything.
Yeah. So guys, don't pay anybody. Just go to the site. It's free. You didn't pay anything, right?
Yeah, you don't have to pay. You
Yeah,
don't have to pay anyone.
exactly. So those of you who are paying people, don't waste your money. Go to Opera World or talk to me or Rose. Okay, so you said it took you just 1 week to get a host.
Around 1 or 2 weeks.
That was luck, and also I say it's hard work because I could tell how hard you are working, sending those messages, and also how you create your profile really is important.
Exactly. That is what I want to say. It
Yeah,
depends on how you create your profile.
yeah.
So at least you don't have to slay in your profile.
True. I tell them every day, Rose.
When I was looking for host families, I used to look at other au pairs au pairs
Profiles.
profiles,
Yeah.
and there are lots of slay queens. I would say that. It depends on the photos you post there. Someone would be, come on. It depends on the photos. You should all all that the family needs to see, a host family needs to see, is that their kids are secure with you. You know what you're doing. You know how to take care of the kids. You know how to handle kids. You can handle them well. So photos of you with some kids, something natural. If you've been an au pair before, you can send photos. If you have younger brothers, relatives, friends with kids that you've taken care of them, taken photos with them, you can post it there. And you have to text and text and text as many families as you can. And I would say that when you start texting, you should not put so many limits. Like you don't need a family that smokes. I was surprised when I arrived in Spain. Almost, should I say, 80% of women smoke. Luckily enough, all my hosts don't smoke. Both the husband and the wife, all of them never smoke. But so many women smoke here. So when you start putting limits, for me, it would be so hard to get a family.
Yeah. I tell them to slay in Europe. Once they get in Europe, you can play.
Once you get to Europe, you can slay, but before that, you
Yeah.
don't have to slay.
Okay. So you said it took you between 1 and 2 weeks to get a host. So
Yeah.
after that, how long did it take you to get a visa, to process it?
After that, I think it was in July when I started talking to my host. Then matriculation. How do you say?
See, now Rose is speaking Spanish, guys.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is topic. Matriculation is in English. No.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Admissions to school.
Okay.
Admissions. Here they do it in July, August, because we start in September. The school year starts in September. So I think it was in July.
Yeah.
So when I started talking to her, I had to wait until August for admissions. Then she applied, no, not for admission. Anyway, she applied for admissions into a language school. Then the results came back in August. So in August, it took like 2 weeks when she sent me the contract, the admission letter, and the medical
Insurance.
Yeah, medical insurance. So in September, mid or late September, I can't remember. I applied for the visa. Then it took 6 weeks. Normally it's 3 to 6 weeks. It took 6 weeks. Then I don't know what's wrong with my dates. I think it delayed a little bit because I remember I got my visa on 10th of December and I traveled on 12th of December. I don't know why the dates don't add up, but my visa took 6 weeks to come out and it was not a problem. I applied, never followed up and all that. And when it came, I was called. I went for my visa on 10th of December. On 12th, I traveled.
Well, then, if it took 6 weeks, then probably you didn't start in July. Because I remember when I texted you, it was way later in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be in August, September, or October. I can't remember.
Okay. So about the visa, the requirements that are needed by the embassy. So does the host family provide?
What you need from the host family is an admission letter into a language school.
Yeah.
And you need the contract. Those are the two major things in Spain.
Yeah.
About the other countries, I don't know. Those are the two major things you need. But I would also say it's important that your host pays for the medical insurance here in Spain because it's easier. The insurance companies here, I think you get access to many hospitals. You can be treated in many hospitals here. Yeah, so from the host, you have to get the contract, the medical insurance, and the admission letter.
Yeah.
They have to send it to you, the original.
Yeah.
Signed, dated, stamped, all that. They have to send it to you. And the rest from you, your
passport,
your passport, your passport, your school certificates, they have to be certified and legalized at the embassy. Your medical, you have to do some tests. Medical certificate. Okay. It has to be certified and legalized. What else do you need? Your birth certificate, certified and legalized. And all these certificates, the certification, for example, for the school certificates has to be done with the Ministry of Education and then at the Foreign Affairs. The birth certificates has to be done at the births and deaths. And then at the Foreign Affairs, that is certification. Then you also have to have a certificate of good conduct, certified. When is it certified? I really don't remember where it's certified. But all these certificates have to pass through the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So once they're certified and you already have a date, interview date at the embassy, you go with your certified documents and pay for the legalization that is done at the embassy. You leave the certified documents there and they legalize it. And that is done on the day that you go for your interview. Exactly.
I feel like that is a process for Spain, the legalization and stuff. Because I had an au pair go to Italy. She never did all that certification. She just did copies of her originals, and she took them to the Italy embassy, and that's it. I don't know if it changed after because she went before you. She went to Europe before you, and she didn't do all those certifications. Just did copies. But again, it depends on the country.
Yeah, but I think in Europe, most countries, I think in Germany and France also, I've never met an au pair from Italy, so I wouldn't talk about Italy. Any document that comes from Kenya or comes from any African country, it depends. You have to certify and legalize it because how will they know here that it's legal if it's not certified at the Foreign Affairs and legalized? So for all documents here in Spain, if you need to use any document from Kenya, all the documents that I've used, including my birth certificate, they're certified and legalized. They have to have like 3 stamps.
Wow. Even if it's original.
Even if it's original. It's the original, including my birth certificate. In Kenya, we are used to the birth certificate, the one you were born with, you are given at birth. That is the one you use all your life. Here, no. You produce a new copy. Anytime you want to use, you want to do some paperwork, you have to produce a birth certificate that was produced within 3 months that have passed. So you produce a new one, you go to the birth and deaths in Kenya, in Nairobi, or Huduma Center. They produce a new one and then it's certified, taken to the Foreign Affairs, they stamp it, and then you take it to the embassy, they legalize it, and then you can use it here in Spain.
So, where did you get all this information? Like, does the host tell you, or where do you get all this?
No. The host is not even aware. You are the one to guide the host and tell the host what needs to be done. This host don't know anything. So when you told me about the au pair thing, I also had to text the embassy.
Yeah.
The Spanish embassy to ask about the requirements of au pair, the au pair requirements. And that's when they told me they don't offer au pair visas, but there's a student visa. And the au pair part will take care. You'll only have to produce your contract with your au pair to show that, with your host, to show that your accommodation is taken care of. So they sent me a list of the requirements, and all the documents were certified and legalized at the embassy. They have to be certified, then legalized at the embassy. So I really didn't know what certification was. So I started with my school certificates and went to the Ministry of Education for certification. So they told me to go back to my university, Kenyatta University, produce the original copy and a photocopy. The photocopy has to be stamped at the school. Then you go with the photocopy and the original to the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education also stamped the copy that the school has already stamped. Then you go with this at the Foreign Affairs. The Foreign Affairs also stamps the photocopy that the school and the Ministry of Education has stamped. So that is certification. When it goes to the embassy is now sure that once it has passed the Ministry of Education and the Foreign Affairs, this is a genuine copy. It's not river on certificate. I would say that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so when you got to Europe, did you find any support group or you were just yourself, alone and lonely?
Support group. I was just myself. Nothing. I arrived in December. School started in September. So I was late. Classes started in September. I arrived in December. I went for classes for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I could not catch up.
Yeah.
I was 3 months late. So I decided to stop going for classes and resume in February when a new class began. There are 2 semesters, September to January, February to June.
Yeah.
So I decided to start in February. So until February, I had no friends, not even one. I knew no one. I was just in the house, and the winter, I've never experienced winter. Yeah, it was one hell of a. I felt like going back home, but it was hard. Then Corona started in March, so you can imagine it was so hard. But when summer began, I started going out. I met friends, so many friends, and life became normal to me again.
So there was no like any au pair group in Spain that.
When I began, no.
Mm.
And with the corona, it was so hard meeting people. But luckily enough,
Mm-hmm.
September, the next year, 2020 September, when I went back to school, when I started school, there were so many au pairs. In my class, like almost half the class were au pairs. So that is when one of them introduced me to the au pair group and all that. So I started having friends, meeting, you know. But before then, it was just me.
Okay. So as we wind up, we've taken like 47 minutes. The other question is, are there opportunities once you get in Europe? Like opportunities to study, to work?
I would say that opportunities to study, there are so many opportunities to study, so many. It depends on what you want. If you want to study, there are so many opportunities, so many. And to work, well, I would say there are opportunities. It depends on if you have papers or not. And as a student, you have to work 20 hours a week. Yeah. But there are so many opportunities, so many.
Okay. So would you recommend au pair as a way to move to Europe?
Wow. Yes, I would recommend it, but it depends on so many things. Yeah, but I would highly recommend it. But
Yeah.
it also depends on so many things. Uh, Depends on what you want. If you are not focused, if you don't have goals, if you don't know, if you just come to Europe that I want to be an au pair and you don't have long-term goals, you're not going to make it, because the families that you stay with, they are not your family. In as much as you try to be part of them, they are not part of you, and they can chase you out of the house anytime. Then what next if you don't have plans, if you don't have savings, if you don't have backup? And to be an au pair, you have to have savings, you have to have money, because the families, What if you can't cope with the kids? You'll have to go. So first, when you come as an au pair, you have to have an open mind, but you have to know what you want in life. You can't just come that, I'll be an au pair, then what I want, I'll see what I want as time goes by. No, it's not done like that. You'll definitely go back home and you'll have wasted lots of money in your flight and lots of money. So you can be an au pair for a year or two, but when you're coming, you have to have plans, know exactly what you want. If it's education, when you arrive, start looking for colleges, start looking for universities, and all that. Ask around what you need to do and all that.
Yeah.
If you want to slay, then look for your mubaba or whatever. I don't know how to say it.
Mubaba, my friend. Important.
If you want to slay, you can slay, but here life is easy if you are hardworking. If you have a job, if you can pay your bills and do all that, it's easy. But if you're going to depend on a man to pay your bills and everything, if it's so hard, you'll be on the streets. You can't without a job and all that. You just want to slay. You can't. You just have to have a plan. You have to have savings.
Yeah, I would say focus is very important. As people move anywhere, just moving abroad, you have to be focused. Even as a student, even me as I came here, I had to be focused because I had to pay school fees, I had to pay upkeep, bills, everything. So focus is very important in anybody. For anybody who is trying to move abroad, focus is very important. Otherwise, you find yourself in situations, especially for au pair. And we were talking about this, People go and people say, oh, I've seen au pairs who are really suffering in Europe. They were deported, they're illegal, and all that. It's because you're not focused. We have
That
we have successful au pairs. Look at you, Rose. So it's about like how you go there and use that opportunity that you have to
yeah.
make your life better and life of your families and all that. Anyways, Rose, do you have anything to say before we leave?
Mm, not much. I would just like to advise girls that they should try it, the au pair thing. It
Yeah,
works. If you have a dream of coming to Europe and all that, the au pair thing works, but it's not easy.
yeah,
Taking care of white kids is not so easy.
yeah. You see,
And
like,
the cultural difference will be a shock to you when you arrive. It's not like our kids will be crying, then you give them biscuits and say that Toto Shika, and the kid keeps quiet.
yeah.
No, they're totally different.
Mm.
These are totally different kids, so it's
I
not
see.
so easy.
Yeah, I also like our watoto from back home. You see, like you pinch them a little bit, Namaza, ama you spank them a little bit. Wapi will you spank ya mtoto wa
Here you can't. You
you can.
can't. You will spank a kid in the morning and he'll be red throughout the day until when the parents come back. You, you can't spank a white kid. So au pairing, it's a nice opportunity for you to come abroad, but you have to have a plan. You have to know what you want. Have some goals. Focus on what you want. If you want to study, there are so many opportunities, free opportunities. If you want to work, it's a little bit hard, but if you want something so hard, you'll always work around it. You'll always find a way to get what you want. So it all depends on you as a person.
Yeah. Very true, my dear. Very true. That's like a really realistic point of view. You see, like a lot of YouTubers come here and be like, "Oh, au pair is the easiest thing, nicest thing."
Mm.
Yes, it is easy to get to Europe through au pair, but you have to be focused. You have to know what you want if you want to stay long term. You see, there are people who just the concept of au pair is to go and go back home. see. So there are people who just want to go to Europe, have fun for 1 year, then go back home, and that's okay. You will not have any troubles. But
Yeah.
I know for sure so many people want to use this opportunity to stay long term. So if you're in that group, of which majority of our Kenyans are in that group, then you have to stay focused, as Rose said. Have goals, have plans. Know that after this, I'm using this to get to Europe, and then I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll join school.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Anyway, Rose, thank you so much for agreeing to be here. I know you're not a social media person.
I've tried.
I really, really do appreciate you for coming here. They're listening from like another perspective. I keep on telling them, and it's me always doing this. At least they've gotten a different perspective, and we really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have fun in Europe, and I can't wait to see you.
See you soon.
Yeah. Okay, bye bye, Ross.
Bye.
Bye.